The Coinsaurus channel is pleased to have you back. Looking around, I notice that many people are starting to get hot and anxious, claiming things like, "Oh my god, XRP is at 63.85 cents, is likely simply people suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, caused by the recent bull run." With the ADA token, which Cardano recently released, we are now behind with a value of 63.94. This is beyond me. We are not dealing with the enormous legal problems of yesterday. This is not 2021. Direct fiat liquidity is provided by every major US Bitcoin exchange. The future of XRP appears promising. Unwind and let events take their course. Does this current run have any chance of continuing? You ought to prioritize that. Is that so? Is further effort still required? Just like when we were the Wildcat Outlaw coin, XRP will run during a complete bull run. Despite this, its price remained high. This time around, it will do quite well in that environment. Furthermore, I do not find the recent price increase in Cardano to be particularly noteworthy. Personally, I believe that all individuals should possess Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, the three most important cryptocurrencies. Do what makes you happy, but they should have all three, even if you have to wait for the price to drop. Feeling good about yourself is a byproduct of being a market leader, and Bitcoins are always nice. Cardano, Polkadot, and Cosmos Atom are just a few examples of the large Layer 1 smart contracts that provide a great basis for future development. And then you can stop worrying about these issues and start appreciating how great it is that your Cardano and Polkadots are increasing. And the outcome is up for grabs. If this trend continues, XRP's value will explode in the latter phases. Not only will I be generating money there, but you can sit back and watch it grow while you ensure yourself some coverage. In addition to your resume. I mentioned buying XRP a long time ago. Furthermore, I have strengthened some areas of my portfolio that were previously weak by capitalizing on the present poor market. So, for the time being, I'll just sit back, watch the coins rise, and try to guess what happens next. I always value everything highly and never take anything for granted. Nothing is guaranteed by me. Nonetheless, I am ready and satisfied with that comprehension, so I will not be taken aback if it persists. Do you know how we'll deal with any problem that comes our way? Right now, I'm willing to shell out more cash. Are there any other, equally good cryptocurrency choices? Leave your opinions in the comments section. Is XRP causing you any concern this time around? Rullian Sale and XRP are things I'm familiar with. Always, without fail, they do it. Their presence is permanent. You can expect that they will continue selling these coins, therefore this investment must always account for that. It may come as a surprise, but every single project utilizes a similar method to submerge solid tokens in the market. Therefore, it will not matter. XRP will be okay. I also expect it to outperform all other large-cap cryptocurrencies once everything is said and done. But I still think we'll get to the bottom of this dispute eventually. It is the primary worry, though, so you should know that. The most important thing that happened today was the hack on the ledger. The disclosed security problem early Thursday affected several Ethereum-based apps, such as Zapper Sushi, Comp Compromise, and Schwab Phantom Balancer. Therefore, the problem was with them and not with Ethereum or the D app. Neither the quantity nor the number of impacted decentralized D applications have been determined at this time. Also, we've heard that the number might go as high as 150,000. We are really clueless, to be honest. It bears repeating that Ledger is not a company that I find especially appealing. Even though I've been picking on them for quite some time, I do in fact utilize them. I even have a notebook that I keep track of it all. Well, it doesn't matter anyhow. A great many additional things, including my Trezor, were sent to me. I utilize multiple strategies to safeguard my finances, and I make it a point to have sufficient insurance coverage so that not even a devastating failure may deplete my resources. Having their money stolen or devalued is something no one wants. However, you shouldn't put all your security eggs in one basket, so diversify your procedures. Still, These dApps were usually sitting idle until you were tagged to them. Not a problem. Your coins should be functioning properly. Another issue with the ledger is that I am suspicious of the present leadership of the company and worry that they are having trouble making ends meet. There are a lot of things about this that I find objectionable, but you still need to be extra careful and spread out your risks. I don't get it. Things start to go wrong at that point. It is critical that you safeguard your Bitcoin holdings, because software might be mistaken by humans, and hackers are always coming up with new ways to steal it. Here's what Nick had to say. I think it's totally doable. At some time, he says, someone will hack Mannat MetaMask, harmful updates will keep coming out, and someone will send your secret keys to a server or an attacker. Ugh, it's like begging to be attacked. I don't invest much in it because of how popular and sought after it is. I only use it when absolutely essential, such when interacting with the dApp or attempting to use tokens. I try to keep things as safe as possible, but it's still something to think about. The individual in question is nowadays known as Gary Gensler. I need you to wait a second. Regarding the application for the spot Bitcoin ETF, someone has questioned him. Just tell him, hey, we're working on it. That should be his easy response. Hopefully, we manage to complete it. Just a moment, though. To be clear, this is only a crude Talian interpretation of the question. Obviously, therefore, spot Bitcoin ETF applications are piling up, but for the time being the commission and its employees are busy with other things. I apologize for interrupting you, Mr. Chair, but I have a question for you. There has been a lot of extremely crucial with respect to the $26 trillion treasury market that underpins all of our financial markets. Our government is funded in this way. This is how the Federal Reserve carries out its monetary policy and keeps the US dollar at the head of the pack in global trade. Then you're going to question me about Bitcoin in. Even my defense commissioner, Ueda, brought up Bitcoin in an open forum. The United States Treasury, that is correct. Since the US Treasury is our primary concern, we should not inquire about anything else. Even more importantly, is this really something that should worry him? I mean, this is the most odd and evasive answer imaginable. He's a securities and security product regulator. When asked about the administration of the Treasury or whether the US dollar is the de facto global standard, we can press on and hope for the best. There is a market. He's a market that makes a big splash. Not only are cryptocurrency holdings far lower, but they also don't go toward funding government programs. There is no such thing as monetary policy. Many investors have lost money due to the market. On top of that, they are suffering due to the excessive amount of disobedience. This guy is absolutely disgusting. It would appear that not even the most fundamental questions can elicit a response from him. In addition, some investors have lost money since there are no clear laws, and we don't offer ETFs that go via traditional brokers and then are held by third parties. Those who can't afford more traditional investing options have little choice but to depend on these thumb drives as a means of wealth preservation. Because of the SEC's and Gary Gensler's shoddy work, a lot of people have lost money. Not only does this violate securities laws, but it also breaches other regulations put forth by various government agencies, including the U.S. Department of Treasury, Financial Crimes Enforcement, our market sister regulator, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and others. But I have to ask, when you look at the main objectives and priorities, you see that our actions today have a huge impact on the U.S. Treasury market and the capital markets. Envision yourself attempting to, does he finally have had enough of this gang? Imagine this, he came up to me and wanted to gather my opinion on SPACs or some other stock-related subject. Hey, we can just talk about the Treasury Department and all that other stuff, he said in response. What this means is that he flat-out refused to answer my question on Bitcoin. It remains a mystery to the marketplace, and you remain bewildered. This interview is incredibly relevant to the present situation of cryptocurrency. This cryptocurrency's worth will exceed Bitcoin's next year, according to JP Morgan, because of a recent update. Since it is not as though JP Morgan collectively came to this consensus, I find their titles repulsive. Of course, this is dependent on what the analysts at JP Morgan have said, which is also shown below. According to JP Morgan, next year, the value of Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, may exceed that of Bitcoin. The protoshaft, Chardin. The most crucial aspect is the one that is meant to improve network efficiency. I am at a loss for words. From now on, it'll be called EIP 4844. The first half of 2024 is usually when people expect it to happen. Bitcoin is already factored into prices for next year, according to JP Morgan. Okay, I'll try to explain it in simpler terms. Thanks to the merge and all these other improvements, they are much better than before. They have also included rolling stuff. Upgrading is the initial stage. But when the bull run is at its peak, Ethereum will be worthless and overwhelmed by the amount of transactions. Also, EIP 4844 doesn't matter to me because it will continue to be worthless garbage. On top of that, it will be expensive and slow, and consumers will leave for competitors. That's the whole story. In the event of the next bull run, it will be ill-prepared. There are protections in place to stop you from taking advantage of the market right now, even though the Bitcoin halving is coming and is already affecting prices. As the price of Bitcoin rises, the model will cause it to fall because the current distribution mechanism encourages miners to sell early and sell a lot. As a result, you will not have enough time to completely front-run the market and raise prices before Bitcoin halvening. The fact that this has occurred previously is not new, but I don't think it's true that price is the only factor. There is a real metric at play here, the reduction in supply, and that wasn't there before Bitcoin. So, will Ethereum overtake Bitcoin in value? I have my doubts. I get it, Ethereum may be useful in a number of things, like NFTs, DeFi, but how realistic are those things? When Ethereum's features are fully operational and the network starts processing transactions, it will be unable to expand to other rival networks like Cosmos Atom or Polkadot due to its constraints. It won't matter how hard they try to implement proto-native sharding, it just cannot handle the current demand. On top of that, it will simply not work properly. You must understand that. The current valuation of Ethereum is one reason I am hesitant to buy in it. I would be quite surprised if it were to surpass Bitcoin this time. From my point of view, it's excessive. What I foresee is a surge in Ethereum prices, and I would love a share in it. That being said, I intend to acquire Ethereum Layer 2s. That's how I'm approaching things. Although I can understand the logic and acknowledge that Bitcoin has numerous possible uses and industries that could boost demand, I remain pessimistic about its eventual popular acceptance. Post your opinions in the comments area. In my view, Ethereum will never be able to compete with Bitcoin. Once it starts, this successive upswing begins. This is going to take some time for us to discuss. The news that the Poly sign, which I brought up yesterday, will be sold at public auction is somewhat unexpected. Presumably, it declared bankruptcy. But check it out, by June of 2022, they had raised $53 million to expand their workforce. When they purchased this MG Stover in April, they received it. A private equity firm also provided them with a $25 million loan. We went bankrupt because, as far as I can tell, they couldn't refinance that credit line. What a catastrophe. Proceed with caution when investing in privately held companies on these platforms, since you will not have the same level of access to information regarding them as you would with publicly traded companies. Not to mention the high-stakes, unpredictable cryptocurrency industry. Also, be aware that this is potentially harmful stuff. These companies are a major concern, and the general public has to know that. Even if a hack doesn't work, you can still buy an exchange. Even worse, you lose all your money since the founders aren't trustworthy and the exchange goes down. It is clearly stated throughout the site that you should handle these private companies with the utmost care. Oh, what a letdown. We were eagerly anticipating the remarkable outcomes that PolySign would achieve in the custody case. It appears like it will be a complete failure. It will also be necessary to postpone delving into some statistics. The nature of the company means that you won't learn much from this. We would be inundated with information while we await the set to drop if this were a publicly traded firm. Despite their enormous financial success, Poly's sign seems to have been a total failure. No one could deny that it failed. Let me know what you think by posting a comment below. Your like and subscription would mean the world to me. Goodbye for now.